What if the biggest thing shaping your future is not your talent, your intelligence, your background, or even your current results? What if it is the way you explain failure to yourself? One bad grade, one rejected idea, one lost game, one awkward conversation, one business mistake, one moment where life looks at you and says, "Not yet." For some people, that moment becomes proof. I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented. I'm a failure. People like me don't win. This is who I am. For others, the same moment becomes information. What can I learn? What should I try next? What skill is missing? What feedback can I use? How do I improve? That difference is The Heart of Mindset by Carol Dweck. This book is built around one powerful idea. The beliefs you hold about your abilities shape how you learn, work, love, lead, compete, and recover from setbacks. Not because belief magically solves everything, it does not, but because your mindset determines what you do after things get hard. And life gets hard for everyone. The Lazy Capybara version? You do not need to be born a genius. You just need to stop treating every mistake like a final exam on your worth. The big idea. Fixed mindset versus growth mindset. Carol Dweck's central framework is simple, but deeply useful. There are two basic ways people think about ability. The fixed mindset. A fixed mindset believes your qualities are mostly set. You are either smart or not, talented or not, creative or not, athletic or not, a natural leader or not. In this mindset, life becomes a constant performance. Every challenge is a test of identity. Every mistake feels like exposure. Every failure feels like proof that maybe you were never good enough in the first place. So people with a fixed mindset often avoid challenges, hide weaknesses, reject criticism, compare themselves constantly, and feel threatened by the success of others. Not because they are bad people, but because if ability is fixed, then failure is terrifying. A bad result does not just mean, I need to improve, it means, maybe this is all I am. The growth mindset. A growth mindset believes abilities can be developed through effort, strategy, learning, feedback, and time. It does not say everyone can become anything instantly. It does not pretend talent does not exist. It simply says your starting point is not your ending point. In this mindset, challenges are not threats, they are training. Mistakes are not identity statements, they are feedback. Effort is not embarrassing, it is how ability grows. Criticism is not an attack, it is useful information. Other people's success is not proof that you are behind, it is evidence of what is possible. This shift changes everything. A fixed mindset asks, do I look smart? A growth mindset asks, am I learning? And that one question can change the direction of a life. The bad day test. Dweck illustrates the difference with a simple scenario. Imagine this. You are taking a class you really care about. The professor returns your midterm paper and you get a C+. On your way home, you discover a parking ticket. Then you call your best friend for comfort, but your friend is cold and distant. Not the worst day in human history, but definitely the kind of day that makes you stare into the fridge like it has answers. Dweck asked people how they would respond. One group spiraled. They imagined feeling worthless, rejected, unlucky, and defeated. They turned 3 bad events into a global judgment about their whole life. I'm a loser. Everyone is better than me. The world is against me. Nothing works out for me. Their actions matched that story. Withdraw, shut down, complain, avoid, numb out, or give up. The second group also felt bad, and this is important. A growth mindset does not mean you feel cheerful when things go wrong. It does not turn you into a motivational robot with perfect posture and a suspiciously bright smile. These people were upset too, but they interpreted the situation differently. They thought, I need to study differently for the next test. I should be more careful where I park. Maybe my friend is having a bad day. I'll talk to them later. Same events, different meaning. That is the power of mindset. The fixed mindset turns pain into identity. The growth mindset turns pain into action. Why the fixed mindset feels so dangerous. The fixed mindset is tempting because it offers a simple story. If you succeed easily, you feel special. You get praised for being smart, gifted, natural, or superior. You feel like you have something valuable to protect. But that protection becomes a prison. Because if your identity depends on being naturally good, then difficulty becomes threatening. Trying hard becomes embarrassing. Asking questions becomes risky. Admitting confusion becomes dangerous. Failure becomes shameful. So the fixed mindset often leads people to avoid the exact experiences that would help them grow. They choose easier tasks where they can look smart. They quit when things become difficult. They blame others when results disappoint. They hide mistakes instead of learning from them. They may even sabotage themselves so they can say, "I didn't really try." That last one is sneaky. If you do not try, you can protect the fantasy that you might have been amazing. I could have been great if I had tried. The growth mindset sees that as heartbreaking, because the only way to find out what you can become is to actually engage with the process, not perfectly, not instantly, but honestly. Effort, the great mindset divider. One of the most important differences between the two mindsets is how they interpret effort. In a fixed mindset, effort can feel like proof of weakness. If you were truly talented, you would not need to try so hard. If you were really smart, you would understand instantly. If you were naturally gifted, success should feel smooth. This creates a dangerous relationship with hard work. People start avoiding effort because effort makes them feel less special. But in the growth mindset, effort is not proof that you lack talent. Effort is the path that builds talent. This does not mean effort alone guarantees greatness. Strategy matters, feedback matters, practice quality matters, environment matters. But without effort, potential stays theoretical. A person with a growth mindset does not say, "I'm bad at this." They say, "I'm not good at this yet." That tiny word, "yet," is one of the most powerful words in the book. I do not understand this yet. I cannot do this yet. I have not mastered it yet. I have not found the right strategy yet. Yet keeps the door open. Very small word. Very large capybara energy. Talent is real, but it is not enough. Dweck does not deny talent. Some people start with advantages. Some people learn faster. Some have stronger natural ability in certain areas. But talent is only the beginning of the story. A fixed mindset worships talent. A growth mindset develops it. This difference matters because talent without learning can become fragile. If a talented person always wins easily, they may never build resilience. When they finally face a serious challenge, they may not know how to struggle productively. Meanwhile, someone less naturally gifted but more persistent can keep improving until they surpass the person who relied only on talent. This shows up in school, sports, business, creativity, and relationships. The world is full of people who were once called gifted but became afraid of difficulty. And it is full of people who were once overlooked but kept learning until they became excellent. Talent may open the door. Mindset determines whether you keep walking. School, learning or proving. In school, the fixed mindset creates a painful trap. Students who believe intelligence is fixed often care more about proving they are smart than becoming smarter. A good grade makes them feel validated. A bad grade makes them feel exposed. So when work becomes difficult, they may lose interest, avoid the subject, or decide they are not a math person, not a science person, not a writer, or not good at languages. But often the real issue is not lack of ability. It is the meaning they attach to struggle. A growth-minded student sees difficulty differently. A hard class does not mean they are dumb. It means they are learning something real. A bad grade does not define their future. It shows where effort, strategy, and support are needed. This is also why praise matters. Dweck warns against praising children only for being smart or talented. That kind of praise can accidentally create fear. The child learns, "I am valued when I look smart." Instead, praise the process, effort strategy, focus, persistence, improvement, asking for help, learning from mistakes, trying a harder problem. The message becomes, growth is valuable, not just looking impressive. Sports. Champions are built, not just born. Sports is one of the clearest places to see mindset. People love the idea of a natural. The athlete who seems born for greatness. The one who moves effortlessly, wins early, and looks like destiny in sneakers. But Dweck points out that many legendary athletes were not simply the most naturally gifted. What separated them was not just talent. It was the mindset to keep improving. A growth-minded athlete defines success as becoming better, not just looking superior. They study weakness. They train deliberately. They recover from losses. They adapt as their body changes. They use setbacks as information. For fixed mindset athletes, losing can feel like a personal humiliation. It threatens the identity of being special. They may blame coaches, teammates, weather, refs, injuries, or bad luck. But growth-minded athletes ask better questions. What did this reveal? What skill do I need? What pattern keeps beating me? How do I train for this? What can I control next? This is why setbacks can become fuel. A fixed mindset says, failure means I'm not a winner. A growth mindset says, failure shows me how winners are built. Business. When leaders need to be the genius. Dweck also applies mindset to leadership in business. Fixed mindset leaders often divide the world into superior and inferior people. They need to prove they are the genius in the room. They want admiration, control, and credit. The company becomes a stage for their ego. This can create dangerous cultures. People hide bad news. Teams compete instead of collaborate. Leaders reward stars and ignore systems. Short-term image becomes more important than long-term health. Mistakes are covered up instead of studied. The Raw Draft mentions examples like Enron, Albert Dunlap, and Lee Iacocca as cases where image, ego, and fixed mindset leadership caused serious damage. The pattern is clear. When leaders need to look brilliant, organizations stop learning. Growth-minded leaders behave differently. They admit what they do not know. They invite feedback. They reward teamwork. They develop people. They focus on the company's growth, not their own heroic image. Jack Welch at General Electric and Lou Gerstner at IBM are presented as examples of leaders who leaned into learning, cultural change, and long-term development. The deeper point is this. A company grows when the people inside it are allowed to grow. A leader with a fixed mindset creates fear. A leader with a growth mindset creates learning. And learning is one of the strongest competitive advantages in the world. Relationships. Mindset changes. Love. 2. Although the Raw Draft focuses more on school, sports, and business, the mindset idea also applies powerfully to relationships. In a fixed mindset, people may believe relationships should be effortless if they are meant to be. So conflict becomes a sign of failure. Criticism becomes rejection. Differences become proof that the relationship is wrong. This creates unrealistic expectations. If we were compatible, this would be easy. If they loved me, they would know what I need. If this is hard, maybe it is not real. A growth mindset sees relationships as something people build. Communication can improve. Trust can be repaired. Emotional habits can change. People can learn each other's needs. Conflict can become understanding if handled well. This does not mean every relationship should continue forever. Some situations are unhealthy and need boundaries. But many relationships fail not because people cannot grow, but because they assume love should require no learning. A growth mindset says, we are not perfect, but can we learn? That question creates space for maturity. The false growth mindset trap. One important warning. Growth mindset is not just saying nice things like, try harder, or believe in yourself. That is too shallow. A real growth mindset is not blind optimism. It is not pretending everyone can become world-class at anything. It is not ignoring real obstacles. It means focusing on the process of improvement. That includes better strategies, honest feedback, deliberate practice, support from others, emotional resilience, patience, reflection, willingness to change approach. Effort alone is not enough if the strategy is bad. If a student studies the wrong way for 10 hours, the answer is not just study harder. The answer may be to study differently. If a business keeps failing, the answer is not just push more. It may be to rethink the offer, the market, the team, or the system. A growth mindset is not worshiping effort. It is believing improvement is possible and then doing the intelligent work required. How to apply mindset in real life. Here is the practical part. You do not become growth-minded by reading one inspiring sentence and floating away like an enlightened capybara on a lily pad. You build it through repeated choices. 1. Notice your fixed mindset voice. Listen for thoughts like, I'm just not good at this. I always fail. If I ask for help, I'll look dumb. If I try and fail, people will know I'm not talented. They're successful, so I must be behind. This feedback means they don't believe in me. Do not attack yourself for having these thoughts. Just notice them. Awareness is the first move. 2. Add the word yet. Change. I can't do this. 2. I can't do this yet. That one word reminds your brain that ability can develop. It does not solve the problem, but it keeps you in the game. 3. Replace judgment with curiosity. When something goes wrong, ask, what happened? What can I learn? What strategy did not work? What skill is missing? Who can help me improve? What is the next experiment? Curiosity keeps failure from turning into shame. 4. Praise process, not identity. For yourself and others, focus on what can be developed. Instead of only saying, you're so smart, say, you worked through that carefully. You found a better strategy. You kept going after it got hard. You asked a useful question. You improved from last time. This teaches people to value learning over looking perfect. 5. Choose challenges on purpose. Do one thing that stretches you. Not something impossible, just something slightly beyond your current comfort. A harder workout, a new skill, a difficult conversation, a public post, a sales call, a project that makes you feel like a beginner. Growth requires contact with difficulty. 6. Redefine failure. A failure is not a label. It is data. It shows where the current strategy, preparation, skill, or timing did not work. The goal is not to love failure. Failure still hurts. The goal is to use it instead of becoming it. The main takeaway mindset is powerful because it gives language to something we all experience. That tiny moment after a setback. The moment where we decide what the setback means. Does it mean I am not enough, or does it mean I am learning? That question shapes everything. A fixed mindset tries to protect the ego. A growth mindset tries to develop the person. A fixed mindset wants to look smart. A growth mindset wants to become better. A fixed mindset hides weakness. A growth mindset studies weakness. A fixed mindset fears effort. A growth mindset respects effort. A fixed mindset turns failure into identity. A growth mindset turns failure into information. This does not mean life becomes easy. It means difficulty becomes useful. And that is a massive difference. Final reflection. You are not finished. That may be the most hopeful message in the whole book. Your current skills are not your final skills. Your current confidence is not your final confidence. Your current mistakes are not your final story. Your current limits are not always permanent walls. Sometimes they are just the edge of your current training. So the next time you fail, pause. Do not rush to label yourself. Do not throw your whole identity into one bad result. Do not let one moment pretend to be your entire future. Ask one better question. What can this teach me? Then take the next step. Because growth is not loud. It is not always dramatic. It is often quiet, repetitive, humble, and slightly uncomfortable. Like a lazy capybara learning a new skill slowly, calmly, and with snacks nearby. But over time, that mindset changes everything. So today, choose one area where you have been saying, I'm just not good at this. Add the word yet. Then do one small thing to prove the story is still being written. Subscribe to the Lazy Capybaras for more calm, practical book summaries that help you think better, learn deeper, and become a little more growth-minded every day.